Dwayne here at Dry Creek Wrangler School. So I did a video about 3 days ago on my way back from picking up the 2 horses. And this is Peso. The plan is he's going to become my horse. Now, I'm going to cover some things here, but I want to say before I start that I have some things that are very important to me in a horse that I need for safety, for wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, whoever I'm helping. So when I say that those things, I don't see those things in this new horse that I bought, and so I'm going to start working on them. I don't want anybody to take that as a poke or casting shade on the folks who train the horse or the folks who I got the horse from. It's not that. You've got your horse, you've got what you do with the horse, you've got your standards, and that's what you do. And I've got mine that I need, and so this is what I do. Now there's some things, this new horse, there's some, and they're not bad. But I was going to saddle him, and he started some of this stuff, and I'm like, I could have saddled him. He's not wild. But there were some things I'm like, no, we're going to deal with that on the ground. Everything starts on the ground, okay? So I don't know if you can hear that other horse just squealing and screaming and going nuts in the background. That was his stablemate. And it's understandable that they would get kind of bound up on that trip up here, and they're in a new place. Now he's doing very well. That other little horse not so much, so I'll really have to put a little bit of work into him. But he's got some things that I don't allow. And it all comes down to your horse, their mind and their attention is not on you. He was swinging around and looking back at that horse, and his butt came around and he almost knocked me down while I was brushing him to saddle him, because he was kind of agitated about that horse. When I pulled him out of the pen, he kept putting his head down to snatch grass, and as those have been with me for a while, that's something I absolutely do not tolerate. Now he's standing here super nice, which is good. I've worked him a couple times in here, then I went and got Noah to come do the camera because I think this would be a good video. You want your horse, no matter what is going on around you, you want your horse paying attention to you. And if their head is constantly off over there and they're swinging around trying to get the other horses, and they're not just standing there while you go to saddle them, get that last piece of grass there, buddy, in between your teeth, then you just need to work on that. You need to get that, and that's what we're going to do. Again, this is just a continuation, a slight variation of what I did with Mouse, what I did with Reba, what I did with Little Joe, because it's so foundational. Folks don't understand how important and foundational this is. So, I could get on him and ride him right now, but I want him to begin to understand that Dwayne is the center of his universe when Dwayne comes in the picture. Ace, you go on. You're rattling and messing up the video. Go on. Go on. Go on. Oh, don't fall. You fell. We've had a ton of rain. Don't video that. There'll be some woman getting on here raising hell with me. We've had so much rain and snow around here lately. So I'm gonna work him in here, but it's still kind of muddy, and so I'm gonna work him gently. But we're gonna work him in here, and I'm just gonna work on teaching him that he has to, that Dwayne is the most important fixture in his universe, okay? Now, we're gonna read our horse. He's so nice. He's quiet and calm. He's paying attention to that other horse out there, but he's not fighting me. All right, so I'm just gonna, what this boils down to is I'm gonna give him a slight signal, and I want him to read me, not the environment around him. Come on, buddy. There you go. Now, as soon as he takes a step, just like always, I quit. You say, Dwayne, you've done this so many times, it's getting boring. If this is boring to you, you do not have the most kindergarten basic foundational understanding of horsemanship. You do not understand how foundational the mind and communication is. Now, about every horse you get in, you need to know where they are. Now, when I went to saddle this horse, he was not locked on to me. All right? I don't want to do anything if he's not paying attention to me. I'm just going to slightly bump that nose in here. His ear's on me. And he's paying attention and he's moving easy. He's a nice little horse. Come on. I got out of position there. That one's on me. It's hard to keep your focus on what you're doing here and focus on what you're saying. Now, whoa. There we go. This is just a simple, basic drill of, hey, you just got to pay attention to me. I know. Got that ugly off there. Come on. That's all it is. There's no discipline. There's no punishment. Nothing has been done wrong. But somebody who was kind of small and kind of slow, a little bit timid, would have been unintentionally possibly stepped on a while ago trying to put a saddle on him because he wasn't paying attention. And too many times we skip these most important. He's walking around nice at a walk. That's what I want. I want him to walk. Whoop. Nice stop and turn. I'm gonna let him know that was good. You say, Dwayne, he's way past breaking. I mean, he's a very well started horse. Some would call him a finished horse. I know. There, see how easy that was? See the difference right there? So he's beginning to understand that in Dwayne's world, it just simply comes down to pay attention where Dwayne is, wait for Dwayne to give me a signal, and then follow the signal. Do not step on Dwayne. Do not roll over top of Dwayne. Do not ignore Dwayne. Dwayne's fat and old. He don't want to get hurt. Okay? So now I could get on him. Ah, there we go. I could get on him and ride, but there would be no connection. Now, do I think he was taught this before? Yes, I do. He's doing it very well. Do I think he's been through all this? Yes, I do. Do I think he kind of forgot it? I don't know if it'd be so much forgot as in he didn't consider that that was maybe part of this program. Now I'm looking for something. He's doing really well. I'm looking for something from him now. I want just a little bit more. I want to see him lick his lips. I want to see him relax. He's not super tense. Some of you say, Dwayne, that's enough. I'd get on him. Well, good. Get on yours. Little bitty comes around. That other horse is still bellowing out there. I'm trying to blow through that. Come on. We'll do this and then I'll go saddle him and we'll do some more in here. But I wanted to show you, if you don't feel like you're connected with your horse, if you don't feel like your horse is connected with you, you shouldn't get in the saddle. If you don't feel like they're, hey, what do you want? What is your signal? What are you doing? If you don't have that, you shouldn't get in the saddle. So many accidents today could be avoided if people would just take the time to instruct their horse. Let's go around. Whoa. Now, smart little horse, good-minded little horse. Horse that wants to please, horse that wants to do what needs to be done. He just needed to be shown the program around here. He just needed to be kind of locked into Dwayne. Okay? So now we'll turn the camera off and we'll go over and saddle him and we'll come back in and I'll ride him for a little bit and we'll see what we got. Okay, so we saddled him up and I'm going to bit him up. Now I'm putting him in a snaffle bit. Now I saw on the video, they were riding him, the video they had on for the sale ad, and they were riding him in a Western bit, and The guy showed me the bits they've been riding him in. I don't doubt that at all. But every time I get a new horse, I always put the new horse, the first time I ride them, I always put them in a snaffle bit. I look at it like this. Another trainer, especially in another part of the country, he's going to know things that I don't know, okay? And he's going to put things on a horse that I wouldn't even know about. But there's a possibility that I know things that he doesn't know. And there's things I want on a horse that maybe he doesn't know about. Now, if you take a brand new horse, a Western bit will tell you what they know, all right? But a snaffle bit will tell you what they don't know and what they do know. And I don't want to just know what he knows, but I want to know what he doesn't know. So if what he doesn't know is something I want him to know, then I can teach it to him, okay? So we're going to put just a basic simple snaffle on him to start with. And I have to keep in mind that he's young and he just took a 3-day horse trailer ride across the United States for 1,200 miles. It was 100 degrees when I picked him up down there. And when we got in yesterday, we had a snowstorm with about a 50-mile-an-hour wind and blowing rain. And that's what he came from Texas to. So it's all been very different for him. And I don't want to lose sight of that, okay? So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to put this snaffle bit on him. And we're just going to begin the process like I do all my horses. Come on. Nice and gentle. Far ear forward. Near ear forward. Slow and easy. Everything. My old broke horses, everything. I bit them up slow and easy. I want them to always know Dwayne is going to respect me and he's going to do this right. And I want them to know they don't have to try to escape it because it's going to be traumatic and uncomfortable, all right? That was his first bidding from me. So I wanted it to be right. Now I know some of you guys out there, you're like, this is all ridiculous, Dwayne. This is all too slow, too much. I'm gonna give you that. That's all right. You do your thing your way. And I'm gonna do my thing my way. Now we're not gonna do much out here because of this is muddy, all right? I wanna set him up to succeed. Now, did you notice that head jerk right there? He does that a bit. His head has come over and about knocked me in the jaw 2 or 3 times. It's not meanness on his part. And it was not caused by meanness on the part of anybody down below where he came from, all right? There's no meanness involved. What there is a young horse that has not been there's been a lot of quick movements around him. And he hasn't yet gotten to the place where he's like, man, life is chill. So now I'm going to get on him and I'm going to do something that's very, very, very important, all right? It's a trick. This is a magic trick. And I wish more people would learn this trick, all right? So I'm going to teach you a magic trick here when I get on this horse. Oh, I got to start doing squats or something. Look, you can come in on that. Nice. Oh, son. Well, I wondered. Oh, buddy. He's still kind of young and kind of lean. This saddle may not fit him. I may have to put another saddle on him. And I don't want to pull that any tighter. All right, so you're going to get something historical. We're going to have 3 splices in this video, all right? So we'll turn it off, put a different saddle on him, and come back. Okay, so we took that saddle back. That saddle I'm gonna introduce here in a video pretty quick. That saddle's the new school signature saddle made by Ben Geisler, but it's got a little bit wider tree. Now, I have a pad and a blanket, and I can't pad up anymore. This is all I'll ever pad up. And that saddle, I had it as tight as I wanted it to cinch. I didn't want the cinch any tighter, and it was still going to roll when I went to get on him. So that saddle's just too lean, it's too wide for this lean young horse. So we got a different saddle here. This is a hardwood saddle. And it doesn't hurt my feelings because I love this little saddle. I mean, I'm loving that new Geisler saddle too. But I've put quite a bit of miles on this saddle, and it's comfortable, and I just really like it. But it ought to fit him a whole lot better. See how quiet he's standing now? It's in him, and I knew it was in him. I knew there was just a little bit of youth and not as much. You know, I've said before, I did a video on this. You can look it up. It's pretty good. Oh, buddy. People ask, they still ask me to this day, Dwayne, why will you not let your horses eat when they're on a halter? Why will you insist that they don't squeal at the other horses? Why do you do the things you do? My horse, he can be a partner, which I hope I hope he becomes one. But it's not a 50-50 partnership. At best, it's a 60-40, okay? I want my horse to be a professional. He and I, we work for a living. And it's in people as well as his horses, people and horses and dogs who do not have a working state of mind, who do not have a work ethic, are lousy fellow workers. All right? So when I put my horse on a halter, I want him to have the state of mind, it's time to go to work. We're going to work. We're not whinnying off over there at those horses. We're not stopping. When he's on my lead rope and he stops on his own to get grass, he definitely has turned me off. He's not paying attention to me, okay? And I don't want that. I want to be a professional. That's why he's got to stand when I go to mounting. Somebody else rode this saddle since I did. The stirrups were up a little bit. We used it for the school, the last class. But I've ridden this saddle enough. Woo! Somebody was peg-legged. They had one side up, 2 notches. Okay, we're gonna do something magic here. You ready? Okay. Oh, son. You can't be that lean. All right. Whoop. Whoop. I don't want to cut him in half. I don't want him looking like Mr. Peanut. But I don't want the saddle rolling. I don't want him getting sore. That's a little tighter than I'd normally want it, but looks like that's what we got to do. Also. Well, Noah, plan C. What's the narrowest saddle we got? It's the D'Ambros. All right. 4 parts of this video. We'll turn it off here and we'll go get another saddle. I'm not going to start off wrong. I'm not going to climb up on the rails and get on this saddle. I'm not going to bring a mounting block around until I find a saddle that fits him. I'm not going to ride him. We're supposed to go move some pears tomorrow. I wanted to take him. There ain't no rolling the saddle, and there ain't no there ain't gonna be no mounting blocks out there, so we'll go to plan C and see how that works. All right, actually we decided to keep this saddle. I took the blanket off. This horse does not have a prominent set of withers. Also, now this is a thing that's kind of it's hard to tell, and if you don't know, it'll mess you up. You saw him in the video when we was out here without the saddle. He's a lean horse. He's only 4, he's very young. But he's also in pretty good shape, I mean, as far as his weight goes. And so at the school, you know, we always talk about that pocket in behind the shoulder that the saddle goes in, that holds the saddle in place when you cinch it down. Well, that pocket's kind of full of fat on this horse. Now, you would think it wouldn't be the way he's built, all right? But just like you can be skinny and have a paunch around the middle, all right, fat goes where it wants to go. And so we got to checking. We found that pocket, and it's kind of a little bit full of fat. So we took that blanket off, tightened him down again. We're going to see if this works, okay? All right, son. Whoop. And there we go. Woo. All right. Now here's the magic thing we're going to do right here. Are you ready? Did you see it? You want to see it again? There it is. Listen. Your horse does not know the energy that you want. Your horse does not know the pace that you want to set. Your horse does not know the pace that you want to start out. Okay? So if you don't tell them, if you don't show them, they default back to the pace of whatever they had before, the pace of how they're feeling. All right? Now I have these young guys, and a couple of them are starting to learn it. Some of them, they still haven't learned it yet. We got a couple of horses, and Noah's learning it. He's here. All right, present company excluded. How about that? We got a couple of horses that they don't buck, they don't bronc, but they don't know much, and they've been in here trying to teach them stuff. But they'll come in here and they'll get on them, and then they immediately try to start disengaging the hindquarters, or they'll start trying to side pass them, or they'll start trying to collect them up. And I tell them, I'm like, look, and then the horse is all up in the air, their head's all up, and they're moving around and they're dancing around, and there's all these signals and everything going. I'm like, look, just get on the horse and be still. Just sit still. And then when you start, just start moving around the panel at a walk with the head down. Okay? So now this horse, the very first time I got in his back, he's like, well, this old cowboy sure does talk a lot. I don't know what all that's about. But he ain't spurring me. We're not running around. He's not pulling my face in. He's not trying to collect me. It's like, man, this is pretty chill. So his very first experience with me was one where I said, the pace is easy. All right, don't start none, won't be one. I don't like a jigging, dancing, prancing. I don't need a horse to make me look pretty anymore. All right, there's nothing out there that can make me look pretty. Okay, it doesn't matter. What I want is I want a horse that is on the same page with me, that we can go out as calm, settled professionals and quietly, calmly do a job. Well, they're taught that in here, and they're taught that right here. Right here, okay? So you need to get on your horse and just be still sometimes. Now we're gonna start off walking. We're just gonna stay everything in here to walk, and we're not gonna do much, again, because of the mud. I don't wanna set my horse up to fail. So I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna see what he knows here. I'm gonna come over here. I'm pretty nice. Come on. And we're just gonna walk. So I want our first ride to be an indication of what our future relationship is going to be like. All right, let's stay out of that mud. So when I saddle him up tomorrow, he's going to be like, oh, hey, I remember you. There ain't no drama with you. And kudos to this guy's trainer. He told me he had a good handle on him. I mean, we're just at a walk, but he sure is lighting that snaffle. Nice. See, sometimes you can wire the money in advance, drive 1,200 miles of empty trailer, pick a horse up, and find an honest people and get a good deal. But if I hadn't taken that chance, like I talked about in the last video, wouldn't have this. Oh man, I'm gonna like this little guy. I can't do anything because of the mud beyond this, and I don't care. I don't even need to. You see that little stop hesitation there? What that was my signal for that is a little different than what he had been taught. So he paused for just a second and sorted it out what I was asking. And just went right to it. He didn't get agitated. He didn't try to do anything. I'm gonna see if he'll come in for me. And he will. Oh my word. Good job, buddy. Ooh. Daddy likes. This is my first introduction in the saddle to my new horse. And the man, he's got a heck of a handle on him. And he's good-minded. He's young, and but that's good. And but yeah, I think he and I are gonna get along good. But I wanted him to be introduced to the fact that his new owner, his new rider, is not gonna jump on and ki-yi and spur. And he don't know that unless I show him. And your horse don't know that unless you show him. You set the pace for the day. You know, you do the same thing with your kids. You get your kids out of bed and they go corralling and running around like crazy. You plop them down in front of some cartoon first thing in the morning that has a frame rate. Noah's watch just went off. That has a frame rate that switches about every 3 seconds, which starts scrambling their brain. And it's got this do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do tunes. It's jacking them up. And then you run them in and set them down and feed them something that may not be probably the best thing. And then for the rest of the day, they're just, you think, man, I've given birth to the spawn of the devil. No, you started the day off. You set the tone for the day. You set the pace for the day. You did it. All right? My wife is an early riser. All right, she's an early riser. She's up at 5. She loves to go in, make coffee, come out, sit, watch the sunrise. By the time, and I'm not an early riser. I go to bed early, but I don't get up before. I might wake up at about 5:30. But a lot of times it's 6 or 6:30 before I wake up. So by the time I get up, get dressed, and I'm not a morning person, stumble in, go in there and sit down, she's already been up for a couple hours and she's ready to go. And so I'll sit there and just like with my cup of coffee, just kind of brain dead. And she'll come in just with all of her energy and all of her excitement and all of her wonder at the world, which she's never lost, and just sit down on a chair and just start chattering. And I love it. I don't ever fuss about it. I love it. I don't ever want her to lose that. But sometimes I'm like, I don't have an idea what she's saying. All right. The energy, I'm just not ready for it. And your horse sometimes is not ready for it. So come in, saddle them slow and easy, get on and sit there, and then just start a slow pace. Start a slow pace, and you've set the pace for the rest of the day. It may take a little bit for them to get into that, but they will. Okay? Remember, anything wrong with your horse becomes a reflection of you. And so I've said this and time, and I'll say it again. Don't ask, what do I need to change about my horse? Ask, what do I need to change about me and my approach that's affecting my horse? Okay? So anyhow, there's Peso, and I think we got many good years to come. All right? Be logical. Be reasonable. Be safe. And set the pace for the day that you want the day to go. And we'll catch you guys next time.